Good day, good day. This is Tim McNair with the Be Edified YouTube movement channel. First of all, thank you for checking out my channel. Also, thank you for just being here and taking the time out. I want to have a discussion. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Also hit that bell icon so that you are notified anytime I drop new content. The content that I deliver is meant to edify you, is meant to just assist you in tackling life with a better perspective, a more optimistic outlook, or more of an optimistic just perspective in the situations that you face in your life. If you've looked at some of my content, then you know that I like to tackle conversations and topics that's gonna help you, just to help you be better, help you feel better about the things that you are facing. And so that's what this video is. I don't know how long this video is going to last, because I really want to challenge you, number one, but number two, I just want to give you some tools or some perspectives that can help you not only fix your life, but also going forward, just going forward with your family, just help you change some things, help you bridge some things together, and also help you empower your family so that your legacy, man, will be solidified with a legacy of love, a legacy of oneness, and a legacy of power. So I just want to dig right in and tell you like where this conversation was, this conversation I want to have with you, how it started. In my profession, I get opportunities to see and talk to people, mostly all day, and I get an opportunity to talk to some of our more seasoned adults, our seniors, people that are, like 50 something and older, that have adult children, right? Adult, offspring. And so I have these conversations. From having these conversations, man, it just kind of showed me some things that's just very disturbing, and so I just want to have this conversation, and let me just jump right in. Like I said, I talk to a lot of older people, and and if you live long enough, I don't care how old you are, you could be 30, you could be 40, you could be 50. One day you're going to be a senior. One day you're going to be an old person. If you live long enough, you're going to be old, right? And when you get older, things in your life is going to change. Your health is going to change. Your memory is going to change. Your finances will change, especially if you have not prepared or planned for your later years. The dynamics of your relationships, your friendships, the people that there are people that you are really, really good friends with. When you get 70 years old, they might not be your friend anymore. They might be passed on. So many things change and happen as we get older. And I think a lot of times when we're young and full of life, we don't think about the down the road, what's to come, right? And so just like I said, the nature of my job and my profession, like I said, I get an opportunity to really have deep conversations with some, senior age people, right? And sometimes the conversations, kind of lead over into the state of which they are in. Some of the things I just mentioned, their limited income, their failing health, the broken relationships, and sometimes, just listening to it, it just I kind of feel bad, because some of them be in some really hard places. And so this is what sparked this conversation for me. I asked them, I said, hey, you don't have any children, or you don't have any family? And they'll say, I've heard this like many times. They'll say, oh, my grown son or my grown daughter, oh, they don't like me, or they don't have time for me, they don't care nothing about me, they don't even bring the grandkids by, I'm just over here, I'm struggling with this, or I don't have nobody to take me to my appointments or give my medicine, and my next door neighbor care about me more than my own kids, my own grown kids. This is stuff that I hear from elderly people. And I know some people can be a drama kings and drama queens or whatnot, but I'm gonna tell you, I hear this so much that I know that there's a lot of truth to it. Matter of fact, I know people that have issues with their parents. They are grown and they got their own families, and they have issues with their elderly parents. And I just want to talk about this because I know that there is a root to these issues. And so, like I said at the top of this conversation, that we all gonna be old one day. You're gonna, if you live long enough, you're gonna be in that position. Because a lot of times, we don't think about tomorrow. We just think about, our life, this little bubble that we are in, this life that we are creating. And sometimes we just forget about, that, hey, one day you're going to be where your parents are. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to have this conversation. But first, I want to talk to these elderly parents. If you're an elder and you have adult children, I want to talk to you for 1 minute, because this is going to help with the things that I'm going to share with you. It can help you. It's not too late to address some of these things that I want to discuss. First and foremost, I want to talk to my elders about just who you are, who you were, who you are, and where you are. Okay. Now, who you were early in life plays a big role in where you are. The Bible tells us we sow what we reap. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't sow much early in life, if you did some things early in life, then the harvest of, the goodwill or the love or the attention or the support, those things might not, a lot of times they're not going to be there. And I know how it is when you're an adult. When, early in life, sometimes, people have children. Even people at our age or younger, you have children that you didn't plan to have. You have children with someone that you're not married to. You have children when you are struggling financially, or you had children when you was trying to figure out who you were in life. You have children in, they are the result of a broken marriage or a broken relationship. Some of you may have had children while you were on drugs or using alcohol or just wilding out, early in life. And so, doing the right things or just being that type of parent that you may have needed to be during that time just wasn't a priority. A lot of times when we are, when we are in the moment, that's all we're thinking about. We're not thinking about, tomorrow. We're just thinking about that moment. And I know some people are just trying to live. You got 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. However the situation is, in those moments, you may not have been the best parent to your children. And a lot of times people don't like to admit that. A lot of times people don't like to, they feel like they don't owe an explanation to their children. They don't owe an explanation to their teenage children or their 20-something-year-old children or their grown children or whatever. And so that's just the life you live. And so, you just go on, and some parents try to make the best of that. They'll try to, right their wrongs, once they get their lives together and this, that, and the third. Some of them try to right their wrongs, but some of them, they really don't. They just assume that, hey, who I was at that time in my life is who I am. And sometimes they be very unapologetic about it. But the thing I want you to understand is, even parents right now, if you're not the best parent, if you're not supportive, if you don't treat your children right, or you're abusive and do these things, please believe when you get older, you're going to reap the fruit of what you're doing now. I mean, that's just real talk. And a lot of times we don't like to think about that. But if you're not a good parent, and I know some people that are very, very good parents, but I also know some people that are horrible parents. Real talk. They're not, their family or their children is not a priority. Just know that, what you sowing now, you're going to reap down the future. But anyway, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm saying this because there is still time to right your wrongs. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that I want you to do, if you know you fit into that category, the first thing you got to do is that you got to forgive yourself. And I know a lot of parents are hard on themselves because of things that they did early on as a parent. And a lot of them try to make up for it by trying to buy the love, buy the respect, buy the honor, buy the favor of their children, of their adult children. They feel like if I could just, do these things, maybe they would love me like, or honor me like I would want them to. And I'm telling you right now, that's not how you fix it. You're setting yourself up to be hurt. You're setting yourself up to be used by your adult children. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you fix things, and so that's what I want to share with you. And I just want to give you this little piece of advice. And that is, number one, you forgive yourself. Number two is that you initiate that conversation. I did a video about a week or two ago about having difficult conversations, putting things on the table that need to be discussed. And this is one of those things. It's like, hey, as an older parent, whether you in your 50s, 60s, 70s, if you have adult children, I'm going to tell you this right now. And if if you made mistakes, if your children are judging you, if your children are holding things against you. And like I said, we try to cover things up by having gatherings and doing things and ha ha he he. But the elephant in the room is still there, sitting right over there in the corner. So the thing that I want you to do, I want to challenge all of my older parents who have grown children. I want you to initiate that conversation. I want you to matter of fact, if you got multiple children, the ones that you can sit and have that one-on-one, and then the ones that you can sit down with all of them and have that conversation. You can have that conversation with them one by one. And I don't care how you do it, but sit down and have that conversation. Sit down and talk about, hey, this is what I was. This is what I did. And if you need to explain, if you need to apologize, if you need to pray with them, hey, do whatever you got to do, because a lot of times we as parents, we don't like to admit when we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? We just want people, our children especially, to accept us for who we are and what we've done. And it's not fair. It's not fair to your children. It's not fair to your family. If you was a parent and you was strung out on drugs, you used alcohol, you was promiscuous, you was selfish, you was not supportive, whatever the things were, I want you to sit down and have that conversation. I don't care how difficult it is, because I'm going to tell you, when you have that conversation and you're repentive and you really want things to be better in your family, your children will see it and your children will respect it. And that will put you on the pathway for healing. Now I'm not sitting here saying it's going to make things perfect between you and your children, but I'm going to tell you, if you are sincere and apologetic, I've seen this transform situations, in families, but I do know that a lot of people are very prideful and they don't want to apologize. They don't feel like they owe that to their children. But let me tell you something. They might be your children, but they are adults. They are an adults. A lot of times older parents will try to keep treating their children like they are children. They're your offsprings, but they are grown adults who have gone through society and they have trying to establish their own relationships. They're trying to navigate through these relationships. And a lot of times your children is repeating the same cycle of the things that you did. A lot of times that's usually what happens, but they still end up with that same result that you had. And it's because somebody did not try to repair the breach. So I'm challenging my elder parents, because like I said, I see these senior parents out here with grown children who are struggling. They are struggling in their health. They're struggling in their finances. They're struggling, in how they feel about themselves. A lot of them have depression. A lot of them feel some kind of way when Mother's Day come around and nobody really respects and honors them, or Father's Day come around. I see this, you know what I'm saying? And it can be fixed. So I want you to, like I said, have that conversation. Apologize for your wrongs, Because a lot of times, sometimes parents can be so caught up in the rebellion and the disrespect of their children that a lot of times they don't even look at their part in it. A lot of times the rebellion that your children have is because of they are fighting against things that you are doing. They looking at you like, hey, you this way and that way, and you expect me to just roll with the punches, go along with the program. And I've heard a lot of parents say, hey, don't do as I do what I say. I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? You can't, and I know children that are rebellious, they'll try to check their parents on their wrongs. But anyway, I'm just want to talk to my senior parents. Now, secondly, this video is 15 minutes long. Okay. So secondly, I want to talk to my adult children, the ones that are, 20, 30, 40, 50, and you still got your parents. If you're 50 years old, your parents may be in their 70s right now. And one of the things that your approach, if your parent, and I want to talk to those who parents probably wasn't the best parent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they weren't supportive. They wasn't understanding. They was abusive. They called you knucklehead. They didn't, support you or do things like you felt like your parents should. You seen your parents make mistakes. You see your father leave home, left y'all. You seen mama go through different baby daddies or different husbands or make bad decisions, bad choices. You saw, the struggles financially. You saw your mama and your daddy mismanage finances. All of these things that children hold against their parents when they're young. You think when you grow up, these things just disappear? No, they don't. They still be inside of you. And these are the things that mold how you honor your parents. Let me just say this at the top before I dig into this with you adult children. The Bible tells us, it says, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, so things will go well for you. And also, Paul goes a step further and said, no, that's not what Paul said. Yeah, Paul said, so that things will go well for you and you live long on the earth. And so I wanna put this right before anything else. And I know you might be like, you talking about honoring my parents. My parents were not honorable. You know what I'm saying? My daddy was a drunk. My mama was a whatever. So you asking me to honor my mom and my daddy. I'm not asking you. The Bible is asking. The Bible tells you. The Bible commands you. And in your place of honor, it's really not for your parents. It's really for you. It's really for you. And the Bible says that so that things will go well for you. And when I was young, I always thought that scripture means things will go well for you in life. And it's true. But I'm going to tell you more specifically, and I believe this wholeheartedly. When he said things will go well for you, I believe that things will go well for you in your parenting. Because a lot of times when we see our parents do wrong, do bad, we as parents, I'm going to do better than my mama. I'm going to do better than my dad. I'm going to show them how a real father's supposed to do with their kids. I'm going to do this. You try so hard to be better than your parents, and you end up making the same exact mistakes. Sometimes in some cases it's worse. Your children worse than you were. Your children dishonor, disrespect you, rebellious, get involved in things you never thought of getting involved in, and you trying to figure out, where did I go wrong? I was being better than my parents. And where you went wrong is you went wrong in judging your parents. The Bible says, judge not lest you be judged. And a lot of times people think that means you're going to be judged by God. No, your judgment reaps judgment on you. It's just that simple. And so one of the things I want to establish at the top is that you have to honor your parents. Honor your parents in the Lord. That means honor your mama and your daddy as if they were the best parents on earth. And when I say honor, I mean respect, hold them to a high regard, high esteem. Because the Bible tells you that. Because the reward, Paul says that it's the only commandment with a promise so that you will live long on this earth and that things will go well with you. So look, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to understand that, hey, your success in life and your success in parenting, it starts with your place of honoring your parents. The Bible tells us to obey our parents, but Paul says honor them as well. Because obeying without honor is really not obedience. It's really, and we can go on, that's a whole nother discussion. But one of the things I want to establish is that place of honor, man. Like I said, honor them in the best way you know how. And one of the things I want to say in that place of honor is treat them, like I said, treat them like they were the best parents in the world. Okay. Now, I charge the elderly parents to initiate that conversation, right? Because that's the right thing. As a parent, you have the responsibility to initiate, correcting or repairing that breach. Whatever the breach is, you are responsible. But I know some adult parents, some senior parents won't do it because of pride, because of arrogance, because of, just being oblivious. A lot of parents are oblivious to their wrongs. They don't like to admit when they were wrong. And that's okay, because I want to, my whole point of this discussion is to help heal these relationships between parents and children, more specifically senior parents and adult children. We have another discussion about young adults and young children or teenage children and all that on another video. But on this one, I really want to, because like I said, I see these senior parents, man. Some of them are struggling. Some of them are lonely, depressed. Some of them die with a broken heart and all this stuff because of the mistakes they made early on, and they're reaping it now in this season in their life. So back to my adult children. When you take on that place of honor, one of the first things that I feel like that needs to happen is that you have to forgive your parents. You got to forgive them, man. I don't care how bad they treated you. I don't care what they did. I don't care if they own up to their mess. You forgive them, and you forgive them in their own way. You don't have to forgive them saying, hey, I forgive you, mama. I forgive you, dad. You can just forgive them in your heart. You can have that conversation with God and say, Lord, my mama, my daddy, whatever, they hurt me. They did that. They did this to me. They did that to me. It hurt me. And it created some things in me. And I'm going to tell you, this is why you forgive, because forgiveness, number one, is the pathway to wholeness, man. A lot of the brokenness that I see some adults have is a result of the issues that they've had in their childhood with their parents. You know what I'm saying? So you got grown people out here that's still dealing with rejection, still dealing with abandonment, still dealing with anger and malice and hatred, self-hate, unruliness, rebellion, all of these things that was birthed in childhood that they are still walking around in life, and that's why some people can't quite find success in life, because they're still dealing with brokenness from their childhood. Some people can't keep jobs. Some people can't stay in relationships. Some people can't quite get it together in life, and it's because they are still holding on to the things that happened to them in their childhood with their parents, and so me asking you to forgive your parents is not just for your parents, it's for you. Because the only way that you can, get wholeness is that you got to deal with your brokenness. And the first step in dealing with your brokenness, even in a relationship with your parents, is forgiveness. You have to forgive. You got to forgive. Like, and it's simple. Like, Lord, I forgive my mother for not being there for me, for they hurt me when my mother told me to, that she don't have time for me, that I'm a bother, and she made me go stay with my grandmama, or she made me go stay with my auntie or my daddy. I forgive my father for leaving me, not having anything to do with me, all while I was growing up. He was never there, never checked on, never gave us anything, even though he's not with my mama no more. He act like I never exist. I forgive my father for that. I forgive my mother, that was over the top in the discipline and it was borderline abusive. I forgive my mother. I forgive my father for whatever. You know the things, I can give you some examples, but we know the issues that we have with our parents. We know them, right? So you forgive. That's the first step. That's the first step. And when you forgive, what are you doing also is you are releasing yourself of the burdens of the things that you were carrying about your parents. When you forgive them, I'm telling you, something will drop off you and you will feel lighter and you will feel more apt to have the conversations that you need or treat your parents better. You will. Some of you treat your parents wrong is because you are still holding that grudge. You're still holding grudges from failures of, things that they did early on in your life. Maybe some of the things spilled over into your adulthood, but some of you are still carrying these things. And in essence, I spoke on this a little earlier, is that you are judging your parents. You are judging them. So I want you to, when you forgive them, I want you to stop judging them. I want you to stop saying, he's this or she's that or she didn't do this or he didn't do that. Because I'm telling you, like I said, when you judge, you will be judged. And you will be scratching your head like, I treat my kids so good. I treat them so much better than my mom and daddy did. But they still are rebellious. They still don't honor me. They still, don't like me. They still don't want to be around me. These are things that happen. So you got to forgive and you got to stop judging. Now, this is the next thing. And I challenge the senior parents to have this conversation, but I know some of them, probably a lot of them, it's not going to do it because pride is big. Pride is a monster. Pride is what caused Satan to get kicked out of heaven. But so pride is a monster. And a lot of times the pride that people have will keep them from even doing the thing that they know they need to do to fix things, right? So I want to challenge my adult children, the offsprings of those senior parents. I want to challenge you. If your parent, don't have the presence of mind to sit down and have that conversation, I want to challenge you to do it. Well, you might be saying, Tim, they the adults. You're an adult too. But you might be like, but they're older. You know what I'm saying? They the one that did me wrong. So why do I have to sit down and initiate a conversation? Well, I mean, look, we trying to fix things, right? We're trying to fix things. Yeah, the responsibility should be on the adult, the older parent, the parent, right? But let me tell you something. Like I said, pride is a monster. So I just want to, this is the approach I want you to do. Because this is a little difficult. It's a little different when you are the victim or you the one that was offended or mistreated, trying to establish the conversation. Because that's why I said forgive, release, and not judge. Because if you try to have the conversation and you still holding on to these things, I'm gonna tell you that conversation is not gonna go well. You're gonna initiate the conversation, placing blame and judging and having anger and all. And making a bad situation worse. But so by you forgiving first, right? Not judging, asking God to give you the grace and the right words or whatever, then now you can have this conversation. And the conversation is not to judge. The conversation is not to say, oh, you hurt me, you did this, that to me. No, the conversation is, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, parents, whatever. Hey, I noticed that there is some things not right in our relationship. There is this awkwardness, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I was still holding on things against you, things that happened, and you can do some, for instances, you can bring some things up that was very traumatic. You know what I'm saying? And just say, hey, I know this happened, that happened. I don't care if they deny. Just speak your piece. Say this happened, that happened, but I'm just letting you know that I don't hold that against you. I don't hold that against you. I've forgiven you of that, and I've asked God to forgive me for being, feeling malice or feeling resentment towards you. But I just want you to know that I'm not holding that against you. You know what I'm saying? And I just want you to know that I want us to have a better relationship. I want us to work on our communication. I want us to work on spending more time together. I want to work on us, my kids, my children getting to know you better. But I just want us to have this conversation because I don't want to repeat the same cycles. I don't want, I want better for myself. And I believe that the way to for that to happen is that I fix what's wrong between you and I. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people this all the time because I tell adult children this all the time. I keep saying adult children, but I tell adults this all the time. You don't know how long you had your parents. Some of you just think mama and daddy or whoever, you might feel some kind of way about what they did or how they treated you, but you still love them. You still will be hurt when they're gone. You're gonna still miss them because they gave you life. They had to put a roof over you. They fed you. They clothed you. Those are things that endear us to anyone, but especially our parents. Parents could not have been the best parents, ever. But I'm gonna tell you, those things matter, and those things stay with us, and that's why we love our parents. That's why we are loyal to our parents. But a lot of times, as we grow up, we be like, I don't need my parents no more. I have my own independence. I got my own job. I got my own family. So I don't need my mama. I don't need my daddy no more. And so that's why a lot of times people will try to, avoid that thing that's broken, And so one of the things I want to tell you and I want to challenge you is to fix that because like I said, what you don't confront stays the strong man in your life. And that means that if you don't confront that brokenness, if you don't confront those issues, that's going to stay in your life. And that's going to be a challenge that you're going to have to face when you reach that point in your life. Because I don't care how good of a parent you think you are. There are things about you that your children are judging you on. They are. I don't care. You might not think it had anything to do with them. Your children will judge you off of going through a divorce. Your children will judge you by making less money. Your children will judge you by things that you have no earthly idea about. Because we've judged our parents and never said it. So what I'm trying to get you to see is that when you repair the breach, one of the things that it do is God will arm you with the grace and the ability. He will to be whatever you need to be, even in your place as a parent. Because one day you're going to be a grandparent. One day you're going to be a 60, 70, 80-year-old man or woman that's in need of all the things that your parents are in need. But let me go back and say, hey, the things that you don't confront and deal with while your parents are still living, I'm going to tell you, these things will haunt you when they pass on, when they transition on. Them conversations you never had, those are the things that's going to stick in your craw. So, I want you to not get complacent and get so caught up in your life that you just assume that your mom or your dad, they're going to be here and, because I'm going to tell you, life happens and I'm going to tell you, they're going to be gone. Life is but a vapor. And, people are here today and gone tomorrow. So I want to challenge my adult offspring, my adults, go have those conversations, man. Go have those conversations. And like I said, even if your parent is not the most honorable, they're not the most whatever, you try to honor them in your own way. Even if you have that conversation and it don't go well, don't let that cause you to keep that wedge in that relationship. And I just want to charge you and challenge you too. Look, like I say, I see these elderly people out here, man, with children, with families, and they say this stuff. And I know some of them are big babies. I know some of them be exaggerate, and I know some people lie. I know some elderly parents can be very difficult. And so, but like I said, I don't like to see, I know that there are some parents that are very remorseful, of what they did to their children when they were much younger in life, and they wish they can go back in time and change some things. But the thing about life is that you can't go back in time and change things, but you can change things where you are. and it starts with the conversation. Like I said, it starts with admitting, apologizing, explaining, forgiving. That's how we fix things. That's how we heal, you know. And so I just wanted to charge all of you with these things, man. Relationships are important. And those relationships between parents and children, or children and parents, you know, are so important, man. You don't want your family's legacy to be a legacy of betrayals, hurts, disrespect, disregard, unforgiveness. No, you want your legacy to be a legacy of love, oneness, unity, support. You know what I'm saying? Laughter, joy. You want a legacy. When someone says, that's my thing. When someone talks about the McNairs is a family full of oneness, a family of joy, love, support, oneness. You know what I'm saying? That's the legacy that I want when you say the name McNair. And that's what you should say, whatever your name is, whatever your family is. But it starts with someone having enough courage and someone having enough compassion to change, enough compassion to change the dynamics of your family structure. So look, forgive, honor, love. You parents, explain, own up to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Own up to your stuff. Don't be so prideful that you can't admit that you were wrong. But anyway, I know this video is 35 minutes long. This is a real conversation. Like I said, most of my videos have been shorts or just little 10-minute videos, 7-minute videos. This is a 35-minute video, and I hope that something that I said in this video will help you bridge that gap and fix those things that are wrong in your families. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this is Tim McNair with the Be Edified YouTube channel. Like I said, if you like the videos, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also hit that bell icon so that you're notified anytime that I drop new content. If you really like this video, go ahead and share this with a friend. I promise you, this information that I'm sharing with you, I've shared this with many people, and I've seen God heal relationships. And so, look, sometimes, healing starts with a conversation, and within that conversation, God will grace you with the compassion, everything that you need to bring resolution and healing in those situations. But anyway, I hope this blessed you, and we will talk to you the next time.